Hello, 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 everyone who is joining. I'm currently just posting about reading sprints on Instagram, so I'm gonna do that really quickly because why not? We gotta cross post across all the platforms. I'm just saying we're live for reading sprints. Yay! And should I put the link to the video? I mean, like, that would make sense, right? If we put the link to the video. I hope this is semi-interesting to everybody, but we will be getting into reading sprints, obviously. I will be reading books that I have for the trans rights readathon, because that started yesterday. I've actually finished one book already, which I will talk about in just a second. If everybody wants to also just put stuff that you're reading currently as well, I would love to know what everyone else is reading and posted with a link to the reading sprints. I mean, I'm just so fancy. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to be doing some reading sprints. This is obviously the third time we've done it because it's March. Every third Tuesday we have reading sprints. Uh, Hi, Nikki. Welcome, welcome. Um, so yeah, I dropped basically my entire TBR for the Trans Rights Readathon. I will be having a vlog for that coming up, after. And I do have one book, Spellbound by F.T. Lukens, which was on my actual TBR for the month, which does fit as well. But I don't think I'm currently going to read it tonight just because it is an ebook and I like ebooks for bedtime with the kids. But I did also finish Cinderella by S.T. Lin yesterday because it was like a 62-page Cinderella retelling with a trans feminine main character. Hi. You want to come up here and say hi?
Yes.
Presley is also here. He just woke up from a nap. He doesn't nap very often anymore, but he woke up from his nap and he's supposed to go hang out with Nana, but he wanted to come say hi, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mommy's going to do some reading sprints here on the computer.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing puzzles?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, I finished the short story. I mean, it's 62 pages, like a novelette, whatever it's called. Really enjoyed that one. It obviously follows the fairy tale of Cinderella for the most part, but I like the changes that it made. I did see some reviews on Goodreads that were a little bit middle of the road for it, and some people were wanting it to be a little bit more like either historical versus modern, or they were wanting more emphasis on the magic system or more following that is you. More following of the story of Cinderella, but I just really enjoyed it. So that is what I first read previously, and then I have two books here. Currently, actually, about almost 100 pages into In Between by M.J. James. This is by a non-binary author who um, the book doesn't have that rep in it, but it is Own Voices for Autism rep. Are you being silly because you're on the camera? Yeah, you see yourself? Yeah. It does have Own Voices for Autism rep, and then it's about a single mother, and there's like a fantasy element. Less than 100 pages in, so we'll see about that one. Although I do have an e-book version of that one as well, so I might save that for tonight. The other physical book that I have for the readathon is The Deep by River Solomon. This is Afrofuturism with sirens or mermaids. You're just being too silly. Too silly. So I might pick up that one because it's under 200 pages, and I don't know necessarily if I'll be able to finish it. Oh my! You cracking yourself up here? Go with Nana, okay? Bye, Presley. Um, I might be able to finish it during these reading sprints. We shall see. But so that I think might be the first one that I pick up. Um, let me know, anybody who has joined us, one, if you're reading anything specific for the reading sprints today, or if you've joined the Trans Rights Readathon, or anything that you want to let us know, because I'm always curious about what books you guys are reading. Um, but basically, we'll just be doing some reading sprints today, getting some reading done this one day, one night out of the whole month. I get quite a bit of my reading done just because I like having the time to like dedicate to reading. So reading sprints always help with that regard. So yeah, that's what I've been up to so far with reading. I also have like tons of other things that I want to read, obviously. I have not finished my TBR for the month yet. Pretty sure I mentioned the last reading sprints that I was like basically done by that time. I'm a little bit behind, but not like too crazy. So we'll see how that goes. And I think we'll just start off kicking it off with some reading sprints. Um, we usually do like 20 minutes at a time, and so I think that's probably what we'll do. It's like 5:06 now, my time. I know not everybody else is 5 p.m. obviously, but I think we'll read until um 26, unless it's going to be close enough to say 27. Mm. I also have a new computer, so where I used to be able to find my clock and everything on it, I have the clock, but I used to have like an actual clock so I could see how many seconds. I don't have that anymore. We're going to read until 27 now. Okay, so that has been 20 minutes, and I just got through chapter 2 of The Deep, obviously. And this one is very interesting so far. Like I knew a cursory amount of it like before I started this one, obviously, and I still don't fully know like everything about it, but it is basically I don't know what they call themselves, sirens or mermaids, something like that, where they are descended from I think they called it like drowners or something like that, where it's um at least in the past, like there was one, at least one black woman who had been like cast off of a ship and drowned, but then had children that ended up being these creatures, and they actually do have a name. They're like Wajenru. I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly at all. And we're following one main character who is Yetu, who is like their historian. These people end up having like one historian who has like all these memories, and not just her own memories, memories from ancestors. And the rest of the people sort of live more in the moment, don't really have memories of their own. Like once something happens, they're just like, oh, well, it's in the past. They don't really remember that kind of stuff. And once a year, it looks like they come together for a remembrance where the historian remembers things for them. And there is like this whole way that they do it. We haven't gotten through that yet, so I don't know much else about it. I'm liking the writing style a lot. One thing that I don't know for sure, um, but I have a feeling is that this does also actually have autism rep in it. The main character discusses a bit at the beginning how they feel things differently than other people, and not just in the fact that she's a historian and is remembering all these, memories from ancestors that the normal Wajenru don't have. Um, but feels more things than even normal historians. And they get into the different emotions and how the way that she thinks is different, that kind of thing. And I'm thinking that's the direction that we're going in. And so I have really been enjoying so far the two chapters that I read in the last 20 minutes. But, that's good. That's something that I would expect because of the fact that it's not going to take me very long to read. You know what I mean? Excuse me. So, I don't know if anybody else wants to share what they are currently reading or not. Um, but yeah, that's the one that I'm currently going with. Since we're here and we're talking about trans rights readathon and that kind of stuff mostly because that's the stuff that I'm reading currently. Like I mentioned at the very beginning of these reading sprints, this is the other book that I'm currently reading. Um, Probably again won't read more until later because of the fact that I am reading it as an ebook, but I'm actually currently on chapter 11. So this is about where I would be as of last night. And I do find it very interesting because this one also, like I said, has the autism rep in it, and it's supposed to be fantasy related. We've gotten some hints of a magic system. So I'm very curious where that is going to go. Um, I will say this does have content warnings for sexual assault, like rape. It's off page, like it's not exactly on page, but that is actually how this mother ended up having a child and being a single mother. So obviously that was uncomfortable leading up to that, but it wasn't graphic, which I was happy about. Um, and then because they are a single mother with autism, we are seeing some prejudices and stuff like that, like the school that the child is at, that kind of stuff. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about one of the situations at the beginning of the book, which was a phone call from the school to the mom saying, like, hey, we've had an issue with your kid, and the mom immediately sort of going into like Karen mode and being like, well, you obviously have the wrong stuff, like you're not doing it right. And then they tell her that like your kid is missing, and she's like, I still don't know if I want to leave work to do this. And like I do understand that she is having issues with her boss and stuff like that, but I just feel like the situation was a little bit exaggerated. But besides that, I'm very curious to see how this magic system is going to come into play because we've had the hints and pieces of it. We just haven't gotten into it very, very far. So that one situation I was a little iffy on, but I'm curious about where it's going to go. So ultimately, good things are happening with the different things that I'm currently reading. Um, yeah, I think that's about it for those ones. I do have some other books that I'm hoping to read for the readathon if I can get through everything else that I'm doing. Because I also mentioned that I'm going to be reading Spellbound by F.T. Lukens. So these are the other ones. I do have The Sunbearer Trials by Aidan Thomas. I read Cemetery Boys back in 2020, like absolutely loved it, like my favorite book of the year. So that would be a good possibility. I also have Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly. This is an adult romance that is male, not male, sorry, a female character and a non-binary character, and I do find that very intriguing as well. I've heard pretty good things about that. And then I also have The Angel Room by Lee Call. This is a non-binary author who also did the beautiful cover art on here. I don't know if we have non-binary or trans rep in the book, but I'm curious about the premise because it's about a girl who has like an actual demon with her as a friend sort of thing, and she's trying to figure out if that was something that's really needed, if she could make friends, that kind of stuff. So that is something that's very intriguing as well. Um, Speaking of books that people could read for the readathon that I've already read and absolutely loved, we do actually have Cemetery Boys over here. This is my favorites shelf, these two shelves over here. So Cemetery Boys for sure. Iron Widow is also by a non-binary author. Really, really good. Like that was my favorite book of 2021. We also have Our Bloody Pearl by D.N. Bryn. This is another non-binary trans masc author that the main character in this, the siren, is also non-binary. That was another one that was one of my top books the year that I read that. That might have also been 2021, and I think just got edged out barely by Iron Widow. So that it happens, but I loved those so, so much. So yeah, lots of good things going on for that one. It looks like we might just be jumping into more reading sprints in just a second, because if you are reading along with me, I'm sure you want to keep going if we're not having too many more comments or live chat currently. So we'll read until 56, because by the time I get this typed in, I'm sure that's what it's going to be. So let's put that on here. There it goes. And yeah. Okay, and so that has been another 20 minutes. Again, let me know what you got to or what you're reading if you would like to share. I'm currently in the middle of a chapter, which I hate when that happens. Like, I definitely am that person that likes to like end on a chapter, but this chapter is one of the longer ones so far. Like, I still have quite a few pages to go before I'm actually at the next chapter. Um, and this one, we got through a little bit of a remembrance, but now we're following a different character called Zoti. And so this character uses we for their pronouns. So I'm assuming potentially a non-binary character. I'm really enjoying them because they feel like more of maybe a different time period than the first character, Yetu. I don't know for sure. We'll have to keep reading to see. Because it just sort of started a different chapter with this character. It didn't really have like a, oh, this is in the past or anything like that. So we shall see. But again, reading is going quite quickly, so I definitely feel like this is going to be one that I can probably finish later tonight. Um, but yeah, I've heard many, many good things, and I know there's also like a song or something that goes with it. I'll have to look more into that to see. Hello, hello, Emily. Winterborn Home for Mayhem and Mystery, the second in the series. Interesting. I don't think I've heard of that one. And I'm definitely that person that like looks stuff up later, so I'm always very, very curious. Winterborn Home. How are you liking it? If you're into it enough to tell. Heart of Betrayal and making a digital planner. Ooh, that sounds fun. I've never done digital planners, but I do like planners and journaling and stuff too. And obviously, if you're able to do an audiobook at the same time, always great. So, again, if you are liking that, let me know. I feel like I know Art of Betrayal. Is that the second one in the series by Mary E. Pearson? Because if it is, I have the first one that I need to read and I haven't yet. So if you're reading the second one, that might mean that you liked it, right? That's how that goes. Currently reading The Good House by Tanarive Dew. I have not heard that one either. I'm gonna definitely have to look that up. Allie Carter. Interesting. Okay, I've read some of Ali Carter's young adult stuff, like the one about the girl spies. Like that was coming out back when I was probably like late teens, early 20s, and I really, really liked those ones. Um, so that's interesting. I don't think I knew she had middle grade, but that could be very, very fun. Yes, pretty good so far. Good. I mean, sometimes you get the like second book in a series and it's not as good as you expect, but I'm glad that's good. And then as for the Ali Carter stuff, I think I saw that she's having an adult book coming out this year that I'm very, very curious about. The Blonde Identity. Um, and so I saw, I think, through her Instagram potentially, where she was comparing it to the like Gallagher Girls series, but was like more of like if you want an adult version of that. And so I'm very, very curious about that one. First series of hers, yeah. It may be young adult, but the kids are young, so that made me think maybe middle grade. I mean, the one that you're talking about, like the newer one that you're reading, that could be middle grade. The Gallagher Girls is definitely young adult because I think it's set at like a girls' high school. But I loved those, like devoured those when those first came out. Oh, me too. I actually think I pre-ordered it on the Barnes& and Noble, like, 25% off pre-order sale, like, back in January, something like that. They had, like, a sale for pre-orders, and I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna pre-order that book because 'cause I'm curious." I haven't read anything from her in years, but an adult sort of spy one, like, I need to read that for sure. But so anybody that is just joining us recently in the last reading sprint stuff that we're doing, I am currently reading books by trans and non-binary authors or that have trans and non-binary characters for the Trans Rights Readathon, which is something that is mostly going on Instagram currently. Like that's where it was started, but it looks like it's been picking up some steam in different places as well. I know some people are doing stuff through like TikTok and everything, although I don't have any of that. So that's why I'm reading The Deep right now, because this is a non-binary author, and I think, as I said just recently, I think one of the characters is possibly not non-binary as well. Um, but I've dropped my entire TBR that I was supposed to be reading, except for I do have one book still left on my TBR that does have, I think, a non binary character and by a non binary author, Spellbound by F.T. Lukens. So I am still planning on reading that this week, but I have like a couple other books that I was supposed to read for my TBR, like my TBR game, and I have not done that yet. But I've basically dropped everything to read and vlog. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm doing, trying to get as many books in as possible. Apparently, I just have dropped all of my current TBR for a new one. Um, so yes, I think that's probably about it for now. As long as everybody's okay with it, we can do into more sprints because, like I said, I'm in the middle of a chapter and I I don't like feeling like I'm in the middle of a chapter. I did end where it has like a page break, so it wasn't as bad, but I would like to continue. And hopefully, if people have, good books that they're reading or journals that they're journaling, that should be good. So let's do another sprint. Probably do another 20-minute one since that's easy enough to do the math on. Read until 2024, just because we're going to be getting at that part soon. Okay. Yeah. Reading sprints. Yeah, 24. Perfect. Okay, so we are back after 20 more minutes, and the light is definitely going down outside. I'm gonna have to start bringing a book light down here for reading sprints because my light is on over here. It's just not hitting over here as well. Hello, hello, Ansu. Studying is also very important, so that is also good. I got to page 80 in my book, which for just starting it today during reading sprints, and for reading for about an hour is great. This book is under 200 pages, and I think I was looking at it earlier just to sort of see like where does it actually end? Because like when they have page numbers for books and stuff on Goodreads and whatever, they usually include like the whole book, and this one has that back on. This one also has like an afterword and a reading group guide. So it actually is only like 150 something. So I think I'm gonna actually finish it tonight because as Bree has on here, The Deep is one of her favorite books of all time. I'm really, really enjoying this one, very much so. So I do think this is probably going to be, even once reading sprints are done, something that I'm going to try and finish once the kids go to bed, because I'm just so interested to see where this is going to continue going. Um, because yeah, the way that this is told is beautiful. Like I'm just really, really enjoying it. So 100%. If you have not read this one, you probably should pick it up. Like it's going very, very well. Um, but yeah, if anybody else wants to share, oh, here we go. Read 37 pages. Got sucked into it and spooked when I came back. Yeah, I have definitely had that happen on other people's reading sprints before. Because especially when it's like a good book and you're getting into it, I mean, most of the time I forget that anything else is going on around. You know what I mean? Even better on a reread? I bet it would be because I'm definitely getting into like we've had the first part and I'm probably saying the names wrong. Like if I listened to this on audiobook, I would, know what how to pronounce them. But I read like the first part with Yetu and then we got to the part with Zoti and I thought that was really interesting because it didn't tell you it was in the past, but it felt sort of like that. And then getting back into Yetu's stuff again. And so yeah, I can definitely see that. 30 pages into The Good House, slow start but decent horror. Okay. I mean, yeah, if it's going to build up for you, that's a good thing. So, again, that's one that I need to look into because I don't remember if I know much about that one. Oh, well, that would definitely be a bit, you know, shocking to then hear somebody come back on screen if there's intruders coming in the book. I mean, perfect timing, I guess. Oh, good. I mean, I try my best, and if I really want to know, I'll usually try and look them up. Um, but I'm in the middle of reading sprints. I can always do that later. But I'm glad that at least it's sort of right. Okay. Well, we have more people saying that it's good. Like I have it written down right here with some of my other ones that I didn't recognize when people are mentioning them. So I'm definitely gonna have to look that up because I'm always in for a good horror as well. So very nice. The Good House. Got that written down. So it is almost 6:30, which means I'm gonna have to go do dinner soon. But again, I'm on a part where I'm not quite at the end of a chapter. And it's about 14, 15 pages until it is the end of the chapter. If it's my book, it's River Solomon. I'm reading this for the trans rights readathon. I got this as a gift actually from Olivia Savannah from Olivia's Catastrophe, who has amazing taste in books, especially like Afrofuturism sort of stuff. So I knew it was going to be a good book in general. but I was not planning on reading it this month until this readathon came up, and I'm really, really enjoying it. Okay, good to know. Normally avoid longer horror novels, but heard nothing but good things. Bree also has really, really good taste. So again, if Bree is saying that it is a good book, probably one to check out as well. Yes, good. I mean, I was assuming that you wanted my book. That's what it is. But yeah, and it's like a novella length one too. So that's why I'm gonna end up finishing it tonight no matter what. Like it's just the perfect size, and so far really, really enjoying it. Um, but yeah, so as I was saying, I'm gonna have to do dinner soon, but I'm not quite at the end of a chapter. So as long as everybody's okay with it, I think we're gonna do a shorter, like 10 10-minute reading sprint just to like sprint out that last bit of book that we can do possibly. And then I'll have to probably end it for tonight. But like I can't I can't just end it in the middle of a chapter to go do dinner stuff. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do just like a 10-minute, just very, very quick, try and get out as much as we can do sort of thing. And I think that's how we're gonna end these reading sprints. So read until 40, and we'll see how much I can get done. Okay. So we just finished that last 10-minute reading sprint. I just finished the chapter, so it might have gone just a little bit long. Um, that chapter, the last page, had like a ton of really, really good quotes on it. Like, I just really, really enjoyed that. 10 pages left in the chapter, so that's great. I'm glad that was good. Hopefully, you got to finish your chapter as well. And then, hi, Brittany. It is a little bit too late now, just because I'm going to have to go cook dinner. So, we were doing one last little reading sprint. Um, I'm sure there are some other ones around too if you want, but I do reading sprints every third Tuesday of the month. So, currently, that was today, but next month is the 18th of April, it looks like. So it'll be slightly earlier in the month next time. And 23 pages now in the middle of the chapter. Now you're in the middle of the chapter. I just can't win, you guys. I'm sorry. Hopefully they were a good 23 pages and you don't mind maybe finishing the chapter yourself, because that's what I would end up doing probably. Um, But thank you, everybody, for joining in. Hopefully, you had good reading, good books. Um, oh no, not devastating. Or a good way to end the sprint. Okay. I mean, you are reading a potential horror book. That's what you said it was, a horror book. So hopefully, devastating is good. Um, just that's funny. Devastating, but good. But yeah, so hopefully people got good reading, good books, good chapters done. Like I said, I am definitely going to be finishing this book up tonight. And I will be having a reading vlog for the Trans Rights Readathon coming out next week, actually, since it's only for this 1 week anyway. So I'll probably talk more in depth about some of the stuff in there, how I liked the ending, and just in case anybody is curious, because I will be finishing that up and vlogging it. Um, oh, good. Yes, definitely make sure. I guess you guys don't have to make sure you finish your chapters, but I am that person that likes to finish chapters. I recently read a Stephen King that had no chapters whatsoever. I was so annoyed the entire time because it was just the book. I didn't like that. But otherwise, thank you all for joining. Like I said, I'm going to be hopping off now because I need to finish up dinner. It's almost 7 p.m. here in Arizona now, so that's what we're doing. But again, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a lot of fun with this, and we will do another one uh the third Tuesday of April. Like I said, I think it's the 18th. And so that should be it. And I will see you guys then if you want to join. So bye.